Okay, so we talked about 3 steps of cellular respiration. Okay, so the first step is glycolysis, anaerobic respiration. Glucose gets broken down into pyruvate, producing NADH and ATP. Okay, and then this pyruvate enters the mitochondria. Okay, converted to acetyl-CoA. This enters the Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle produces this many stuff. Okay, so these are the coenzymes. This is a byproduct, and this is ATP. Okay, so this is produced, and then these two, NADH and FADH2, actually goes to the electron transport. Okay, so at the end, at the start of the electron transport, actually NADH and FADH2 gets oxidized to these, and then emits electron. As it gets transported, proton actually gets pumped out against the concentration gradient. So this region is high and this region is low, okay? And then O2 that is breathed in, okay? So we breathe in O2, and then O2 is actually used inside of the mitochondria. So that O2 actually accepts hydrogen and electron, okay? So that actually gets reduced to H2O, okay? So it produces H2O, and these proton actually goes down the concentration gradient to produce ATP. Okay, through the ATP synthetase. All right, so this is how the ATP is produced from the glucose and O2. All right, so let's look at a detailed picture about this. All right, so this is the overview of the cellular respiration. Okay, so when you go from glucose to pyruvate, glucose to 2-pyruvate molecule, you go through glycolysis. Okay, so you consume 2 ATP, and then you produce 4 ATP. So net 2 ATP is produced here, okay? And also with this, you have 2 NADH getting produced, okay? And then this pyruvate enters the Krebs cycle. It's going to produce 6 CO2 overall, okay? And then 2 ATP as well, all right? And then it produces 8 NADH and 2 FADH2. Okay, so these ones, NADH, FADH2, and NADH actually goes to the electron transfer, okay, and that actually overall produces 32 ATP. As for the number of ATP, it's actually very controversial, okay, so scientists are actually studying about this accurate number, okay, so you don't really have to worry about this, okay, but you should just focus on what occurs, okay, NADH and these NADH and FADH2 from each step actually goes to the next step, which is electron transfer. So here, oxygen is used. Okay, so this is the aerobic step. Oxygen is used to produce ATP, lots of ATP for the product. Okay. Here, so this is the place of the cellular respiration. So this is the animal cell, right? Okay. So in the cytoplasm, the glycolysis occurs, okay? And then also in plant cell, glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm, okay? Also in bacteria, this also goes through cellular respiration. So this is also occurred in the cytoplasm, okay? All right, so this is the steps of glycolysis, okay? You don't have to know the detailed names, but you have to know, you have to pay attention like to what happens to the number of carbons, okay? So here you start with 6 carbons, okay? And then this is glucose, and then this uses up ATP, 1 ATP, 2 ATP. So 2 ATP used to actually convert this into this form, okay? And then this gets broken down into these kind of forms, and then as this does that, it produces ATP here and here, 2 ATP, 2 ATP, okay? So overall, 2 ATP is used, 4 ATP is formed, so net you have 2 ATP produced in glycolysis. And then next step is the TCA, which is the Krebs cycle. Okay, so here at the end of glycolysis, it enters the mitochondria. This is the outer membrane of mitochondria. So it goes in, and then as a result of the Krebs cycle, you produce 6 CO2, 8 NADH, 2 FADH2, and 2 ATP. Okay, as this goes in, there are more stuff produced here. Okay, as I wrote on the board, but this picture actually eliminates that. Okay, so here, so these ones, NADH and FADH2, goes along to the next step, which is the electron transport. On the membrane of the matrix. Okay, And then CO2 actually escapes, it diffuses out of the mitochondria.